Another vignette in the middle of June 2013 is on microwaves. What do they do for you, and what do they do for the food? There's an awful lot of argument online about microwaves. The author, me, hasn't had one for 8 years, and I wouldn't eat food coming out of it. I don't care if it's a beverage or a food. As a scientist, having 3 years of lab research, can't wrap my brain around it that's going to make my food better for me than when it started. The United States believes that what's the price for quick and easy? Nothing. It's just fine. You can cheat heating and cheat nature, but there's no risk. That sounds pretty believable, right? Except we live in the most advanced culture in the world, who just happens to be the sickest. Does anyone pretend that the food reheated in microwave tastes better than or equal to the food that they made the day before? Not really. You can take lasagna, put it in the oven, cook it, eat it. The next day, take the next piece of lasagna, put it in the oven, and it tastes remarkably very similar to the lasagna you had the day before. However, once you microwave the lasagna, it doesn't taste the same. The edges are all hard and crusty, get real chewy. There's things done to that food that aren't done in the oven, even though the oven cooks at a higher slow temperature than a more concentrated, quicker temperature. After all, we are cooking with microwaves. Historical fact on researching microwaves was Percy Spencer was building radar equipment for the lab Raytheon and noticed that chocolate bar in his pocket started to melt. He'd been building Megatrons and realized microwaves can be used to direct heat and warm them up quicker. So now most America scarfs down TV dinners. Now, has anybody ever been confused about the nutritious ability of 3-minute food? If you look at the majority of people, not to be callous but to be true, who buy fast meals, the first question you should ask is, are those people healthy? Rhetorical completely. Microwave cooks food from the inside out. True or false? The answer is false. Upon contact with the microwave on the outer shell of the food, it begins to heat, which is, if you get a big glob of potatoes and you put it in your microwave, stick your finger in, it's hot on the outside and it's cold in the center, which is why most people stir halfway through or a third of the way through, and they started turning in plates to get it equally heat. True or false, heating plastics in the microwave can be dangerous? Absolutely true. When the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, one of many who published, but they were one of the first, they published that it would release the bisphenol A's, the BPA's, which got into a huge fight in the early part of this century. Now BPA's, everything's BPA free because it's terrible, but your microwave food certainly does not have to say BPA free, nor will it in its styrofoam container with plastic sheeting top. The real question is it make the food safe or not? Harvard MD Andy Weil says that there may be dangerous side effects. He talks about changing the proteins, which I've known for a long time, and the Japanese Dr. Fumo Wataba for the Women's University found that heating samples degenerated 30 to 40% of milk's vitamin B12, just as an example. What simply happens is the more you excite something in a short period of time, the more you degrade it, the more you turn the molecule. So the molecule's shape is supposed to be like this, and you overheat it, it distorts its shape and changes its function. It doesn't get much more complicated than that. You can look up the Russian studies. You can refer to the publications in the Atlantis Raising Educational Center in Portland, Oregon. You can look at the carcinogenic effects. You can read Dr. Lita Lee's book, Health Effects of Microwave Radiation, which goes as far back as 1991. Decreases nutritional food, decreases the shelf life. It exposes the raw vegetables to an alkaloid into a carcinogen. Free radicals increase. Changes amino acids. causes you to ingest something lovely called Nitrosodienthanolamines, which is a longer word that comes out of meats, by the way, cancer or carcinogen. But the easiest thing I tell all my clients when they ask, if they ask, is just take an egg, put it in a pan on a stove, cook it up, and then put one in a microwave, cook it for your 2.5 minutes or whatever your time is, and eat a bite of each and just pretend they taste the same, because they're not even close. So you'd have to say something was done to the food. Anyway, look it up, research it. If I missed something, email me or send me a note so I can make an update or a correction. Until then, make a good choice.